If, like me, you've got the iPhone 15 Pro, throw that in a bin. It's old, it's had it. It's time to talk the iPhone 16. The iPhone 16 has landed and it's looking so good. So let's get into it. Each year with the new iPhone, Apple introduces incremental updates. But this time around, I thought it was going to be just a little update because the iPhone 15, I feel like that changed the game, especially the iPhone 15 Pro and the iPhone 15 Pro Max. So I thought the 16, the 16 is going to be, It wasn't. The iPhone 16 has elevated it to a whole new level. I was ready for the iPhone 17, but now I'm thinking the iPhone 16, maybe I need that, and maybe I don't even need the Pro version. Maybe I need the regular version. Oh, the iPhone 16 range is looking real good. Everything you need to know coming up. First up, let's talk displays. Now, this is where things get interesting. The iPhone 16 and the iPhone 16 Pros both have the same displays, same pixel density, contrast ratio, and both have 2000 nits of full screen brightness, and both can dim right down to 1 nit. Hey, look, if you've got a Pro iPhone with 120 Hz, you're not going back to 60 Hz. You're not going back there. That's so old school now. You're 120 Hz forever and more, which means you can't get the iPhone 16, which is a shame because it's so good. Also, Apple, why? The phones aren't cheap. Why are you giving us 60 Hz still? Let's talk about what the 16 and the 16 Pros do and don't have and how they're similar, and maybe it'll make your decision a little easier. They've got a lot of the same features, which is where it gets a little bit complicated. So first up, they've both got the ceramic shield display, which is real strong. They've both got action buttons. They've both got camera control buttons as well. I thought the camera control buttons would only be for the Pros, but no, everyone gets one of those as well. In terms of USB speeds, USB-C 2.0 for the 16 and 16 Plus. You got USB-C 3.0 for the Pros. So the regular iPhone 16 comes in two sizes, 6.1 and 6.7 inches. Same sizes as last year, but they got smaller bezels, which means we're getting more screen action for your swiping. In terms of RAM, both have got 8 gig, the 6.1 and the 6.7. That's the regular iPhone and the iPhone 16 Plus. But then also the Pro versions have only got 8 gig of RAM as well. Everyone's getting 8 gig of RAM now. I mean, give us 12 for the Pros. We need that 12. So along with the 8 gig of RAM, you got the A18 chip, which is the same as the A18 Pro chip, minus just one less GPU core. So the A18 chip is just a bin version of the A18 Pro. And that chip, that A18 chip, oh, it's a beast, even in the regular iPhone 16 models. It's real snappy. The iPhone 16 comes with the A18 chip, which is 50% faster than the iPhone 14. I love how fast technology is moving. My iPhone 15 Pro now is just so dated, so old school. Does anyone want it? Do you want it? I'm just giving it away now. Now, AI, artificial intelligence, is a big thing. I love the fact that Apple are owning it, calling it Apple Intelligence. I like what you did there. It's a real nice move. Listen, new software update for the iPhone 15 Pro, the iPhone 15 Pro Max, and of course the 16, 16 Plus, 16 Pro, and 16 Pro Max is coming. You're going to get a smarter Siri. It's going to have more access to the phone and more access to your apps as well if you want that, if you allow it. Siri now has awareness. You might have seen that in the presentation recently. They actually said the word awareness. Oh, it's got a little bit iRobot. Don't Siri.
And Siri will gain on-screen awareness.
Let's talk the iPhone 16 camera. All the stats are going to be on the screen right now. If you do get the iPhone 16, you're going to get that 48 megapixel main camera. It means you're going to be able to zoom in 2 times and still get a 12 megapixel image. You're going to get a 12 megapixel ultra wide angle camera as well with macro capabilities. Let me run you through the iPhone 16 highlights. So we've got a 6.1 inch display and a 6.7 inch on the Plus. 60 Hertz refresh rate, no always on display. You are going to get that brand new ceramic shield display though. It's going to be an aluminium design, action buttons on there, the A18 chip with 8 gig of RAM. You get AI, Apple Intelligence. You get that brand new camera control button as well, the 48 megapixel fusion camera, the 12 megapixel ultra wide camera, 2 times optical zoom, macro photography, Wi-Fi 7 and 22 hours of video playback and 27 on the iPhone 16 Plus. For the USB speeds, like mentioned earlier, is the USB-C 2.0, and in terms of storage, you get 128, 256, and 512 gig of storage. Let's get into the iPhone 16 Pro, which is awesome. Just the regular 16 is just so good, but let's get into the 16 Pro as to why we should get the 16 Pro and spend even more money. The iPhone 16 Pro has got bigger. I think that's good as well because I've got the iPhone 15 Pro, and I was thinking, maybe I'll switch it up a little bit and go with the Max and go with the bigger one next time, but now I don't need to, maybe. this 6.3 inches is the sweet spot, the perfect sweet spot. So the iPhone 16 Pro is 6.3 inches. In terms of battery, better battery than the iPhone 16 and the iPhone 16 Plus, as it should have. It's a Pro phone. Come on, guys. The iPhone 16 Pro Max is now going to have a screen of 6.9 inches, and that's going to be epic as well because, of course, the bezels are even smaller. In terms of the battery for the iPhone 16 Pro Max, it's got a 4-hour improvement over the previous iPhone 15 Pro Max. The 15 Pro Max had a great battery. Apparently, I don't know. I've got the 15 Pro and the battery is awful. The 15 Pro Max had a great battery, I hear, but listen, the iPhone 16 Pro Max is going to make your 15 Pro Max look absolutely useless. Time to chuck it in the bin or trade in. Same thing really in terms of how much money you get back as well, which is a bit cheeky. Now the Pros come in 4 colors, including that color that I feel like everyone wants. There's so much hype on it now. The Desert Titanium color. Have you seen that? When the leaks were out there and people were talking about the color, it looked like this, which is just brown. Rusty brown. Rusty brown. Doesn't sound as good, does it, in terms of marketing? So Desert Titanium, what's your thoughts on that? Will you be going for the Desert Titanium one? I think the Desert Titanium one is looking awesome. I love it. Along with Desert Titanium, you got a new darker black titanium, a brighter white titanium, and natural titanium, which a whole bunch of people love as well. In terms of the processor, the A18 Pro, of course, it's a Pro chip inside. The Pro and the Pro Max both have the same 3 cameras as well. So you get that 48 megapixel fusion camera. The ultra wide camera has jumped up from 12 megapixels to 48 megapixels as well, another reason to upgrade, and both models are going to get that 5 times telephoto camera as well. In terms of video, both Pro models can now shoot 4K at 120 frames per second, and audio, I'm really excited about this. iPhone has changed the game when it comes to audio. Apparently, they've taken their audio game to a whole new level, and the iPhone 16 Pro is going to have the best microphones around. It's about time. Actually, the microphones were pretty good in the past. I've done a video on that, link in the description. The iPhone 15 Pro. How good are the microphones really? I'm comparing it to the industry standard Shure SM7B. So if you're into your microphones, link in the description. If you're not, let's get back to the iPhone stuff. Stay with me, stay with me. Let's run through some highlights real quick on your screen right now. It's all about the iPhone 16 Pro and the iPhone 16 Pro Max. So this is what you might be getting. On the iPhone 16 Pro, you got a 6.3 inch display, and on the iPhone Pro Max, you got a 6.9 inch display. You got that 120 hertz refresh rate, lovely. There is a big difference between 60 and 120. You got always on display. You got that brand new ceramic shield display. It's titanium design. You got all those colors as well. Action button, the A18 Pro chip. You get 8 gig of RAM, would have been nice to have 12. You got AI, Apple Intelligence. You got that camera control brand new button as well. A 48 megapixel fusion camera, a 48 megapixel ultra wide camera, a 12 megapixel telephoto camera. You got that 5 times optical zoom, 48 megapixel macro photography, 4K 120 frames per second video, Wi-Fi 7, 27 hours of video playback. You're going to get 33 hours of video playback on the Max. Of course, you got USB-C, and that's a 3.0 speed. In terms of storage, you get 128, 256, 512, or 1 terabyte. You're not going to get 128 gig storage on the Max though. And look, if you're an Android user, even Android users are welcome here. What's your thoughts on the iPhone 16? Yeah, what are you doing watching this video, Android user? No, that's good. What's your thoughts on the iPhone 16? Will you be switching from Android to Apple because the iPhone 16's insane features? Will you stick with what you got? Will you switch it up? Will you change? Will you upgrade? Will you downgrade? Let me know. Get involved in the comments. Oh, and like, subscribe, and comment and all that kind of good stuff, because I've got 100 subscribers and I would like 101. And maybe you can make that happen.